People are getting up. So
Doing what you
that's
need to.
also part of what we was talking about, which brought us back to this as far as with the pastors and all,
Yeah.
because it's all part of how we were brought up and what our culture is and what we've learned over the years and how to trust certain things, certain systems. And ours, of course, is God.
Yeah.
And we also know that God put man down here, or woman, or whatever you want to say. He put humans down here to govern things. And we have made a mess out of this globe, man, because of greed and hatred. So we're gonna be talking about that today. This dude here, man. I mean, what do you think about Pastor T.D. Jakes?
TD Jakes, man, I
You
think
think he eat a lot? He's amazing. But go ahead.
I mean, but as far as his lessons are concerned, I think that he gives out great knowledge. I think that he try to help people understand through a way of basic teaching and also to the ones that think a little far advanced. So he gives both sides kind of that insight, I could say. So I like him. He's always been an energetic kind of puts you into kind of the sermon type of person.
Well,
So
he
I
has
think I
he
like
has
him
a
for that.
he has a really nice knowledge. The thing is, with anything, you take a great player of anything, you have to still have the genetics and the greatness have to be put in you before. Just like if I practice to be a football player like a Shannon Sharp or a Ray Lewis,
Or even in the basketball, how they've
it
been talking
ain't
about
gonna work.
LeBron James.
I don't care how good I eat, how much weight I'm not. I don't have that. I mean, have you guys ever seen the dude Ocho run? This dude turns 180 degrees. I mean, I'm surprised his ankles didn't break. I know we
It's
got
funny
all.
that you just now finding out of, well, looking at these people because there's so many other folks that you don't even really know. Like the cheetah, you got to look at him. Devontae Adams, you got to look at him. D Hop.
But see, I don't know anything about sports, so I never really got into it.
Yeah.
Because it was always too violent. Nobody knows.
You want to know something that's interesting that I've been watching a lot lately? They keep talking about LeBron James and how old LeBron James is. Now, LeBron James is 38, okay? Now,
Three.
in basketball terms, they say that's about what, 45. Okay. Now, LeBron James for 20 seasons has always averaged at least 20 to 25 points.
Now, most people don't know what a season means. So you might have to just elaborate on
So out of 80,
how many games is a season?
the actual season is 82 games. And then,
If you don't make it into the playoffs.
well, that's like I said, regular season is just 82 games.
The regular season.
Then you have
and then how many you got to do in the playoffs?
well, that depends on if you win.
So you got 7. Is that baseball
Now,
or because they're
no. You're right.
Okay.
Now you
'Cause,
get
I don't know.
seven. You get 7 games. Now out of these 7 games, if you win 4, you just like automatically you just move on, right? Now that's if you win. Okay. Now if you have a good standing between 2 teams, it'll just keep going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, depending on how it goes. Now you have some people that have
Yes, a lot of times it comes down to that last
that
game.
last
Last game.
last
man.
game, last second.
Yeah.
Shot, anything, man. It's very nerve-wracking for people that follow sports, but for those that don't, these are the things that go on in basketball. But
Now, let me show you how we can tie this into what we were talking about with the past. Because when you get involved in organized religion, a sanctuary, you have to follow a certain order. So the pastor is kind of like your coach. He's the one that hands out the assignments. He's the one that says who's going to be assistant pastors, ministers, deacons, and so on and so forth. Well, he is supposed to go by a rule that we call the Bible. See, he's supposed to understand that enough to be able to use those rules to be able to interpret them and tell you how you can apply them to your life. So if I tell you to run a slant route, which I don't know what that means, you got to know that you got to go out and slant out. I think. I don't know. You might get caught out there because that might be the wrong analogy. So I just say let the quarterback run the ball. The hell with it. It's on him. Do what you want with the quarterback. Just leave me alone.
Leave me alone.
That's my saying.
Jesus.
Watch out,
But
Charlie.
my
My foot is on the rim. You know what that means? And they happy too. And this slavery for a second. This is why white folks thought slavery was okay. Because they would come in and see this, and they say, Marla, you got to see these Negroes. They happy and then hell. And they go in there and they look at these Negroes go. And then, we ain't fed them nothing, ain't paid them nothing. They live in all kinds of conditions that we can't even begin to imagine. Okay, getting beat up, raped up, everything. And look at how happy they is because we brought them from Africa. A lot of folks believe that. You think we off topic? Try to go to church and don't understand none of that. The first thing you run into when you go into church is what? On Sunday, white folks go to a church, black folks go to a church. So right there, don't tell me we ain't talking about the same thing. So get out the
I've seen how
in the way of the camera.
I've seen how they so-called preach at the white church.
Well, you remember we went to that one church up on the hill. Boy, that was scary. I don't think we're gonna name the
I
church.
can tell you this.
That may not be cool, but
I didn't know what they were.
Well, it was an international church, and it had a lot of nationalities that went there. But the thing is, they didn't take time
to explain to me
do any one thing. Everybody just did whatever they were. So the Africans was doing their kind of traditional thing, and the Jews was doing theirs. I mean, everybody was just doing different things.
They had a book full of songs. Literally,
we didn't know what
they had a book full of songs, and it wasn't all the same religion.
Man,
I don't understand how they got that in the book.
Either, man. And then they had all them flags of every country and nationality. They had about 50 flags, man, flying with all the people.
And the church fitted what, 1,000 people, if that?
I don't know, man.
Maybe 100.
It wasn't that bad, but it scared us.
It fit like 300 people max.
And that's just like we went to another church we tried to join and everything, and they started talking about stuff we didn't understand because around the country different things mean different things.
I wasn't with it.
Now we played where I'm from. I always played a beanbag was a beanbag throw.
Beanbag was a beanbag throw.
The
beanbag.
We never called that cornholing.
We didn't call it what?
We did not call it cornholing. What happened to it? It ran out.
Yeah, it went past its thing, but it's
well, that means we done been talking too long.
We've been talking for about 12, but it's all right. It's okay. We're gonna get it right. Anyway,
I got to cut all this out, right?
Talking about cornholing.
Yeah, because you got to get him back to where.
I mean, honestly, we can just roll that right back to where that was at. So we're just gonna go right back to where we was doing. So you was talking about beanbag tossing and corn.
Well, we in the church, and the pastor said, "Hey, y'all come to this function we got this evening." He said we're gonna have food and everything, and he started jumping like this guy did. I'm just kidding. And then he said, "Man," he said, "in the back we're gonna be cornholing and everything." And I told my family we got to go because where I was from, that meant something different. That's all I can say on that. So I'm just saying you have to have different types of teaching because different things mean different things at different times. So I'm just appreciating. I appreciate the fact that God did lead me to the two pastors that he led me to because it allowed me. Pastor David Brown was the first one, and the second was Pastor Tony Smith. And see,